today with me, David Dungay. I'm here today with Joe Debold, the VP of Sales of Americas at EPOS. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Very good.
Excellent. Well, today, Joe, we're going to be talking about the education sector. I'm really excited to see some of the innovation and some of the ways you've been helping education establishments get through this tough period. But before we get into that, can you give us a bit of a background on yourself and EPOS?
Sure. I am a longtime technology executive. Currently, as you said, VP of Sales for the Americas and the Enterprise Group within EPOS. Happy to participate in this video.
Excellent. So the last 12 months has been, a bit of a transformative 12 months for a lot of industries, not least the education sector. Anyone with children will, confirm this with the advent of the new word home learning, which I think we'd all, as parents, would rather forget. But from your perspective, Joe, how have you seen that education landscape evolve over the last year or so?
Yeah, I said that's a big question, obviously, and we're all connected to it. I would say the educational sector has been the one most affected, one of the most affected by the pandemic. Obviously, lots of changes. As a father of three and a brother to a few educators, I have a front row seat to the changes. Lots of changes, obviously. Some difficult and some promising, I would say. The educational system has been through lots of challenges. I think the numbers are 1.6 billion students at the height of the pandemic from 129 countries basically could not go to classrooms. So that's about as big an impact as you can see. And obviously we had to figure out remote learning, home learning, as you suggested, as well as hybrid learning as time went on and we began to open up as different countries began to open up. So lots of changes there. And the good news is that we have leaned on technology to try and solve the problem with Microsoft and Unified Communications and so forth. And our role in that is the audio side. So we've seen a lot of changes, and many of the technologies that have been kind of moving along slowly are now being accelerated by the pandemic. We're kind of part of that, and so we hope to be part of the solution as we move forward.
Well, you mentioned there, Joe, hybrid learning. I think as industry participants, we've all heard the hybrid working, rhetoric, if you like, but hybrid learning perhaps not getting as much airtime in this industry as it should. Tell us a little bit more about hybrid learning and the role, I guess, EPOS is playing within that, and how technology is helping children in the classroom or outside of the classroom participate.
Yeah. Okay. So we have hybrid working, and the educational side of that is the hybrid learning, and it's very similar, obviously. And you could argue it's actually more important than hybrid working because the constituents are children as opposed to adults. What we're seeing is obviously a move towards figuring out how to teach and engage. Particularly engage is an important point. How to teach and engage students remotely, not in the classroom, and then the combination of some students in the classroom and some students being home. My educator siblings would say that it's really, really hard to keep students engaged. There's lots of distractions to do that, and the younger they are, the more distractions they're affected by. So I would say that we're definitely seeing a move like the corporate world into hybrid learning, and I suspect that as the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic wear off, we're going to continue to see pieces of the hybrid learning going forward, and a lot of the advances that the technology has been forced to deliver will continue on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you talk about some of the specific issues? Obviously, EPOS, renowned as an audio specialist, well, globally. What are those specific issues are you addressing in that environment right now?
Yeah. So the kind of the three main pieces of the hybrid learning or the remote learning would be video, audio, and content sharing, right? So you're seeing people, video, you're hearing people on the audio side, and then also your content sharing. In the case of education, it's teaching tools and so forth from teachers, um, and so on our side, a lot of times the video and the content sharing get a lot of the attention, but the audio is kind of the piece there that makes all three work together. And there's many studies that have zeroed in on, 50% of the teachers say that keeping students engaged and student participation are the biggest problems they have, and that makes sense. And I've heard that from my teaching siblings. Now, the other thing is that the other research we've uncovered is 35% of students at any moment in time feel frustrated, 25 have experienced stress, and 15 feel embarrassed or lack of confidence, particularly due to audio. So as you can tell, I mean, without quality audio, even with high quality content sharing and video, there's a high degree of distraction. So in our view, all three have to fit closely together in order to make sure that the students and the teachers' aides and the constituents involved are all keeping high quality attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in terms of the devices as well, there's a huge range of audio devices out there, for people to use in this scenario. But I mean, what kind of devices are making the difference when it comes to education?
Interestingly, yeah, good question. So what we're finding is one, speakerphones. Part of our DNA is audio, obviously, and so we have a series of speakerphones. And so speakerphones are used in the classroom, where you might have half the students in the room and then half the students remote. And then a teacher will often have a headset like the one I have on my head now to speak to the folks who are remote, and then the students who are interacting with their fellow students over the speakerphone. So we've seen that combination, and also we've seen a move towards wireless headphones, where you have teachers moving around a classroom, you have students and or teachers at home moving around a room rather than sitting in one place all day. So I would say that combination of speakerphone, high quality headsets, and then wireless headsets to allow for people moving around would be the three big areas that we've seen traction.
Yeah. Okay. And the education sector, I mean, it's not always known for a sector that has got a lot of budget to spend on things such as technology. Are you still finding the sector is struggling for budget in these areas? What are you seeing from a spend point of view?
Yeah, no, that sector has always had trouble. I've been a property taxpayer for a long time. I get what an education supporter. So what we are seeing though is a use of that technology, price points that begin to fall as we get more people using the technology. So you get economies of scale. So we're finding an interest in higher quality technology, more choices from vendors like EPOS and others, and then more. I would say more uh, kind of thought towards who needs what. Like teachers might need higher quality headsets. Students might bring headsets from home, and because our speakerphone or headset is higher quality, often even though the quality is not high on the student, you still get an increased level of quality there. So each educational system is struggling to deal with a lot of the issues related to the pandemic, and and budget being one of them. But I think the technology is actually helping that, and we've seen many more school systems and educational entities starting to get deeper into using this technology more effectively.
Yeah, it's great to see the technology being used effectively. I have children myself, and they're teaching me things about technology, which is great. Joe, tell me, the year ahead, 2021. What are you excited about from a technology standpoint? What's really sort of what are the highlights for you this year, do you think?
I guess all of corporate world and also the educational sector is interested in how is this thing going to play out, right? Work from
Yeah.
home, hybrid work, how is it going to play out? And in our case, how can we help? How can we participate in that with partners like Microsoft and others that we work with to kind of build out the bundles of technology that people need? So we're interested to see, as everybody else is, how um, uh, corporations, people, families, communities actually figure out how they're going to work through this. And obviously, there'll be a lot of variation there. And what we're looking for is how we could participate and use our technology to accomplish that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully we're all sort of back to our normal lives fairly soon. But Joe, look, I think that's a great place to end. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you well.
Thank you, David.
And thank you for watching. Be watching me, David Dungay, on UC Today. If you like today's conversation, please give us a like and a share on social media. That's it for me. Thanks for watching.